Hi everyone, my name is Javi and I control, and in case you didn't notice, I'm actually a really big comic book fan. In fact, I'm such a big fan that this is coming out on a Wednesday and I want to really hurry because I want to read all the new comic books. But why am I telling you this? Well, that is because this week I want to focus on designing superhero costumes. We did the regular fashion design and the costume design, and now I want to focus on superhero costumes because I think there's some things that to learn about it. First, an announcement! I have a Patreon. Yes, a Patreon. If you like the videos that I do and you want to support them, there is a link below where you can go. I only ask for just a little contribution, and it will help me to continue make these videos and also justify my wife why I'm spending most of my day making these videos instead of working. So check the link below. I still don't have any rewards, but those are coming very soon. Now back to camera one. Can you tell that there's something really wrong with my hair? Like this thing here is like, I don't know if I can show you, but I have like this and it's I don't know, it's a super mess. I don't know what to do with it. I try to cut it, but it doesn't look good. I don't know. Anyway, if you wanted to see, this is my camera setup, and well, let's just say that it could be better. I mean, this is a hard drive. It's super dusty. Nah? Well, if you start thinking about it, the basics of superhero design are actually pretty obvious. I have two articles that I want to recommend. One is on IGN and one is on superheronation.com. But if I had to sum up what they say, it is something pretty much like this. Superhero costume design, it is not unlike costume design. You just have to focus more on certain things, especially focus on drawing really clear shapes, on really being iconic on the look of the character, and also focusing on color and how you're going to mix it. The reason why this is so important is because, well, back in the 50s and 60s when people were designing and drawing comic books, you had a lot of limitations regarding printing and the colors that you could print. And also, these artists had to really draw a lot of pages in a day. So they had to keep it real simple and real iconic. But that set the basis from all the costumes that came later, that even though they can be more detailed or not, they still have to address these basic notions of the design. On top of clear shapes, iconography and color, you also have to think of two more things, and that is that the costume has to be functional. I mean, it has to be useful for the character that is going to wear it, and also that the costume should tell you something about the hero. You know how Batman is all dark and broody, and you can tell that in the costume, and Superman is all bright and colorful, and you can also tell that in the costume? Well, that. But a conclusion that both articles have is that actually when you're designing a superhero costume, less is more. Just go with really basic, really bold statements about the character. The more detail that you add to a superhero costume, the more complicated it's going to be for everyone involved, because not only you have to draw that superhero costume a lot of times a day, maybe a lot of times in just a page, but also you're leaving a legacy that is complicated for the rest. One of the examples is John Cassaday, an artist that I love. He used to draw Captain America, and when he did it, because he has a really detailed artwork style, he used to draw all the fish scales in Captain America's costume, and when he left the book, everyone that was left living, everyone that had to draw Captain America after him had to start working on the fish scales, and everyone hated it. But let's go back to the process of doing the design. So I want to focus just a bit on research. I have two articles. One is in fashionista.com and one is in wacom.com. Yes, the guy that made the tablet that I use. The Fashionista article is actually an interview to a costume designer for movies. This designer did the designs for like the Supergirl TV show and the Guardians of the Galaxy costumes. One of the things that Mr. Wilkinson researches are ancient Greek sculpture, high fashion video art, high-tech sports, and military apparel. And when you think about all of these things individually, you realize why they have sense within the idea of the superhero, especially the Greek thing, because most with DC heroes are more like Greek gods. And to think about Greek gods like a modern way to interpret mythology for superheroes is something that everyone talked about it. You can find a lot of text about it, how superheroes are the new mythology, but it makes a lot of sense when you're doing the research. But the Wacom article goes to the other side and actually talks about doing some research for the superhero costumes on more like streetwear and things that would be useful and practical for this superhero to use, especially like if a superhero is going to be super nimble, you have to research what athletes use and stuff like that. I find it that it's a very good tip. But now we're talking about real world outfits for superheroes. I want to talk about redesigns. There's an article on Comic Alliance that I want to recommend. This talks about a lot of redesign and what the redesign of a superhero should achieve. Mainly that it should reflect the personality of the characters, it should redeem the characters when it's a really bad design like from the 80s, and also it should help the character approach a new audience. Most importantly, a costume redesign should talk about the type of stories that this superhero is about to live, that it doesn't have to necessarily be the same stories that the superhero has done before. An example of that is Moon Knight. Moon Knight used to have like this superhero-y outfit, and then he started wearing like this white suit, and it really changed the tone of the story, and the suit adapted to that tone as well. Also great examples are Cameron Stewart and Babs Starr redesign of Batgirl. I love it. And also Robbie Rodriguez designs for Spider-Gwen. That is not actually a redesign, but it's, you know, it iterates on Spider-Man's costume, so you could kinda interpret it as a redesign. But one of my favorite artists that is doing a lot of redesigns of costumes is Chris Anka. He's doing a lot of work for Marvel, especially with, you know, Spider-Woman, Captain Marvel, Storm. I love the way he designs these costumes, and there is an interview with he and other two artists talked about the process of redesigning costume and what it should achieve, and what are the goals and what are the changes and what the audiences want nowadays. So now that I've seen all this and I did all this research, tomorrow I'm going to start doing some redesign of really well-known superheroes, because if I started trying to create my own superhero and then design a character like the costume based on that, it would be really boring, because first I would have to talk a lot about the superhero itself and not focus so much on the costume. So I don't want to do that. I want to focus on characters that already have a really rich history and try to see how I can apply all these notions that I just read about to this superhero costume design. Wish me luck. That's going to be it for today. My name is Javi and I can draw. I know that you can draw too, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!